Okay, now that we've learned how to use forums and how to find good deals on parts, we're going to start actually looking at parts and deciding what you actually need and what's not overkill and everything like that. And to start, we're going to start with your case, probably one of the most major components really, because you can't really hold your components without a case. Um, to get started, I like using Newegg because they make it really easy to sort through cases and look at them. They have good pictures, even videos on a lot of them now, like right here. And it's really useful. You're not limited, obviously, to buying from Newegg. I'm not sponsored or anything. I wish I was, but I'm not. Um, but I just like using Newegg to find cases. Okay, to start out, we're gonna assume, like, if you saw how my build to how to put the computer together video already, or if you just want, for instance, I'm gonna explain what that computer is to those new to this video. It was just a basic office computer. It was actually a little bit overkill, so it lasted longer, but that was a good thing. And it was only like 400, about $400. Just a case and stuff inside the case, no monitor and keyboard and stuff. But we actually got that case in Tiger Direct, and it's actually on sale for really cheap. I think it's like a $17 case. I'm gonna explain why that case was not good and stuff like that. As you can see on the left here where my mouse is, they can show computer cases, case fans, extra enclosures, which I think would be like hard drive enclosures. HTPC stands for home theater PC, or media center cases. They're like special cases that go in your front TV cabinet and such like that, and just designed to play movies and music and stream media to your home theater, pretty much. Power supplies that they must have added like power supply and case fans. It's just kind of a general thing to go with computer cases. You always need a power supply to go in your case, obviously. And a server case, which I'm not going to get to in this video, because I'm assuming if you want to build a server, you know at least as much as I do. So I'm not even going to deal with server chassis. Just going to go to computer cases, kind of assuming we're building just a basic computer right now. Or something of the matter. Newegg's nice because you can compare up to 5 right here, so you can see what's best. I'd say on your case, if you want this computer, if you want to be able to upgrade this computer in the future, I'd say don't go super cheap on your case, because then you're going to regret in the future trying to upgrade. It's going to be a pain, and it's just not worth saving $20 to have a crappy case versus an okay case. You want to look at these promo codes. They have them all the time, so you can save $15 off this plus the rebate, so it goes down to $130 for this case, and that's a pretty good case. Obviously, you look at the reviews. Like this is $20 off. That's a pretty good case. It's one of Cooler Master's top end cases. But you have to learn sizes. Brands I really don't care about. I try to be unbiased as possible. A couple brands that do prefer cases. Not typically I even care for cases on brands. I've tried multiple different brands. I've even had Inwin, IN-WIN is a company right here, and they actually sent me a case to review on Newegg. Well, not for Newegg, but to review from their company free of charge on my YouTube channel. And that review is under my channel, and it's actually a pretty cool case. I mean, it seems kind of plasticky in a couple areas that weren't very good, but otherwise it was a good case. I think it's like $60 or something. I'm not sure what the price was. But I haven't actually started using it. I think I'll use it probably next year, depending. Anyways, like I said, brands don't typically matter. So try to keep brands out of your decision. Now we're gonna go on the type, which we'll get more into type of this when you get onto the how to find your motherboard video. ATX is usually a standard size computer. It's ATX stands for the size of the motherboard. It stands for Advanced Technology Extended. It really doesn't matter to know that. Just know ATX and kind of general what the size means. Micro ATX is just a smaller version ATX board. It's cut down so it doesn't have as many features, and which is usually cheaper at the same time. And that could be a better option for just a basic computer. And micro mini ITX, I forgot what exactly that means. Like I said, it's ITX. Just know it's ITX. It doesn't really matter that you know the exact name of it. Those are very small motherboards, not even maybe 6 inches by 6 inches, like square. It's very small for a very small case. Like you can get those maybe for home theater PCs. A lot of those will have that small, so it fits easily in a TV cabinet. So this is back there, doesn't use a lot of power, and it's always can be always on and not use a lot of power. And those are the type of motherboards. Off the top, they have also they have different motherboards. I'll get to those, and larger cases that will accommodate those motherboards. There's probably the full tower case or something right here. I'll explain if I can find one. I'll explain what I'm talking about. They're actually called ATX-E and ATX. Can't think off the top of my head. They're very large motherboards. I can show you when I get to the motherboard video. Color, that's personal preference. I mean, my one case is acrylic, my other case is a solid, doesn't even have a side window, it has a side fan hole, but that's about it. And I just wanted that one to be more quiet, so that's why I didn't have a side window, or even I don't have a side fan on it, so it doesn't really matter. My acrylic, I wanted to show off everything inside of it, so that's why I got an acrylic case. It comes down to personal preference and what you want. Gaming computers, maybe you want to show off, like you want to have a side window, show you off your graphics card, show off your components, and be a little bit nerdy. For instance, this case, Antec 900, very popular case, obviously, almost 6,000 reviews, and that doesn't count how many people have actually bought this case. This is an updated version, obviously. The new old ones didn't have USB 3, but this one does have USB 3 in it. So that's a very good update. It's a steel case if I'm right. So it's heavier, but it's well built. Has a top fan, has a tray. You might want to put extra change, a flash drive, your hard drive, because if you go, you click on their pictures, they can give you more pictures. And then you can zoom in. I can zoom into the top here. See, well, you have your reset button, you have 2 audio jacks, you have a FireWire port and 2 USB ports, and your power button right on top. To use the different hard drives, you put right in that little cubby. You have a good side window, if I can go to a different picture on the case. So you have one fan that can get some extra ventilation, and you good side window, you can see inside. Like, if you don't want a side window, that could save you money. Other times, cases that have side windows can be cheaper, because it's actually less metal and it's just a piece of plastic instead of extending the metal over. Let's give an example of a really cheap case. Like, we're just gonna lowest price. That's a simple lowest price, 100 per page. And okay, for instance, this case, APX Black Steel ATX Mid Tower computer case. It's $17, $10 shipping, and usually the cheapest cases don't have free shipping, which is what kills the deal. But they're still extremely cheap. This is probably as cheap as the case I got from my parents. If not actually exactly the same. No, it's not exactly the same. I think it's the same company. It's not the same though. So it's a very cheap case, office computer material. You just don't care. You just want a computer that get on the internet kind of type of case. It's going to be a little bit harder to build in this case. Like, there's more screws. It's going to take more time to wire management and get parts in there. You might have a little complications, like my power supply wouldn't fit correctly in the cheap case, so I had to like bend some of the metal to around this area to get it to fit, and so you might have complications like that. If I paid like $10 more, probably wouldn't have any of those problems with much better case overall. But I mean, $10 is $10. You save $10 to get a cheap case. I mean, is it worth a little bit of pain in the long run? And depends, are you going to upgrade down the road and have to deal with that pain again? So you got to think about that when you're looking at a cheap case. Materials, I mean, you could click on materials, but I just usually look toward the case. I look at reviews mostly if I'm looking towards a case. I I probably won't be getting a new case for at least a couple more years. I'd say I'm gonna upgrade my acrylic computer once more in a major upgrade, and then probably um, upgrade to like a custom case or high-end case. Because my acrylic case, I'm gonna go find it. It's made by Sunbeam. I thought it was, yeah, Sunbeam Tech. I guess Newegg doesn't sell it. Let's see here. Okay, Logistics sells, whatever you pronounce, how you pronounce it, sells one. So you could have little cube cases. These like the micro ATX motherboards. You could usually call it the LAN boxes. LAN stands for local area network, and that's for gamers or portable gaming desktop that's not as big, and they can bring it around to other people's houses to a game tournament and such like that. Is what these are useful for. Different colors. You have side windows because usually when you have that, you want to show off your components to other people. Usually, like cold cathodes, cool thing. I have some of those in my computer. They can be sound activated, so whenever you like your bass thumps on your speakers, you can have those flashing, like kind of like a rave party or something of the sort. And right here is also what kind of like a home theater PC looks like. It looks like a receiver that would go into your front TV cabinet, and it's just the style of the case. Sometimes they can hold different. These hold ATX, micro ATX, ATX. Depends on what you get, graphics card and everything else. Some can hold ATX and micro ATX. You want to look at that before you decide on your motherboard and make sure your case is compatible. There's very seldom, I've seen a couple cases that say only support ATX but actually support more, but if they say it doesn't support what motherboard you're getting, I wouldn't risk getting that case unless you're 100% sure that it's just a mistake on Newegg. Like here's their acrylic case, like a transparent case, similar to what I have, but not quite as good in my opinion. Mine was actually $100, and then I had a $50 rebate, but I don't think I'm ever going to do a rebate with Sunbeam Tech again because I sent it in and never got it back, so I ended up losing $50 on that case, unfortunately. But moral of the story, if you don't have a really good known company, you're risking getting a rebate back. Most companies are good. Like I would have to show you the brands. That's the only time brand name usually comes into play, I'd say, as for rebates. Like most all of these are gonna have good rebates. It's hard to explain. I guess I just know what brand names. I would just be spending here like 5 minutes explaining brand names. To what one's good and what one's not. And there's probably some new ones, like Inwin's fairly new, I think, to the case market. But I wouldn't doubt they would have good prices, or good rebate service, if they even support rebates. I'm gonna try and find the other case I have and give another example. If they have it. It's the Inwin Buck BC. They have their cases actually are really cool looking. Dragon Slayer is one of the names. Inwin Buck. He has a $90 case right now at $20 ship, and I've seen it cheaper on Newegg. I think it was like 60 or 70 with free shipping. So I mean, prices vary quite a bit. This is also a newer version of the case I got for sure. At least it looks like a little bit newer. They've changed the design just a little bit. The one thing I didn't like, which it seems like they still haven't changed on it, is these clips right here that open up the side panel. They're just plastic clips that I feel like if you bend them too far, they're just gonna snap right off, and then you have nothing to hold your case on. So, simple thumb screws is a much better idea. The metal, they're not gonna break. If you lose them, you can buy more. If you break that off, you're kind of screwed, I think. So that was my major complaint on the case I reviewed. But I mean, Inwin seems to make pretty good cases. I'm trying to explain. Let's go back to computer cases and show you how to use the power search. If you go over, you can show manufacturer. If you if you're really biased towards one manufacturer, you can choose them. Or if you search it in forums and they tell you, oh, okay, what manufacturers are good, and they tell you a list, and you can click all the ones. Typically, it depends how big of a case you want. Bench case, I think, is like an open case. It's just kind of like a test setup people use so they can quickly test their computer before they put it in a case so they know everything's working. ATX desktop is usually a standard size case. Full tower are the biggest cases here. I think, well, they have a super tower that's been added recently, I think. I haven't seen that. Mid tower case is a fairly small case. If you've seen my on my reviews, well, the bulk case I was just talking about, I'm pretty sure it's a mid tower case. Full tower is fairly tall. It's not really any wider. It's pretty tall and long. ATX mini tower, like it says, it's mini. Super tower will be taller than full tower, I'm sure. Micro ATX desktops, a fairly compact case. Usually they cost more. The cheapest cases are usually ATX desktop, but it's hard to tell really. I would just usually not click on any of these at first when you're first looking. Color, try not to click color because sometimes you click on this and it doesn't actually show all the cases that would have like orange, for instance, when it show material. It really doesn't matter. Aluminum, steel. I mean, if you're gonna be hitting your case a lot, maybe steel so it doesn't dent as easily. Power supply. It's personal preference how cheap it can get. Cheaper, but usually you get a crappy quality power supply. Sometimes, depending on the brand. Like Cooler Master usually includes their own power supply and with the case, so they make and Cooler Master makes pretty decent power supplies, so there's nothing to worry about there. So you can get decent power supplies with the case and save of like $10, $15, $20 with a combo with a case and power supply versus buying them separate. But usually I would just leave it any because, like I said, the case is a real important thing not to skip on. If you majority of you are probably gamers that want to build your computer, and definitely wouldn't skip on a case if you are a gamer. If you're just an office computer, truthfully, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're probably just gonna get rid of the computer afterwards anyway, since it's a business expense. Power supply, any that would be, I guess they've added this too. It's I would assume that's like what power supply would be bundled with the case, and possibly what can fit into the case. Because the bigger the power and the higher the wattage, usually the larger the power supply is. And 1000 watts can be considerably larger than like a 500 watt, obviously. And not twice as big, but they're going to be like 2 or 3 inches longer, so some cases might not be able to hold a 1000 watt power supply. Bottom or top mounted power supply is personal preference. I have a case that's top mounted and I have a case that's bottom mounted. It kind of depends because my top mounted one, the fan of the power supply helps suck out a little bit extra hot heat, but then also if you have a lot of heat build up in your case, that can help decrease the life of your power supply. But for instance, my other power supply is bottom mounted, and that can increase the life of your power supply because it's getting direct airflow from outside your case. But the problem with that is if you put it on carpet, that's way worse because then it gets no airflow whatsoever. Um, and then mine has a dust filter which gets clogged up anyway, so it's probably in the long run, unless you keep it clean, you have it on a hard desk, and um, everything else is probably better to get it top mounted, but some of the even better cases have it bottom mounted. It kind of helps keep clean wires. It really depends on the case, truthfully, depending on what you want. Side window, that's personal preference. That's something you can click no or yes. Office computer, probably no, but sometimes you can get cheaper cases if you click yes. So I always just do any for that. If you have to have a certain number of drive bays, click that. If you need two, always click two and click all the rest, because sometimes it would. I think what it does is it doesn't do everyone that can hold two. It does all the ones that just have two or something. It skips some, so usually I've found that if you add them rest, that adds more. Same for 3.5-inch drives for like your floppy disk, card reader, fan controllers, stuff like that. Internal drive bays would be your 3.5-inch hard drives and mounts for SSDs. New cases, it doesn't look like they have that as an option yet. 2.5-inch. Some cases have 2.5-inch drive bays as well for SSDs and a laptop hard drive if you have that laying around. You want an extra hard drive in your desktop. Expansion slots or back of the computer. Usually, I wouldn't worry about that. It's not really necessary. Front ports. I mean, it's up to you, like I said, as well. I just don't worry about that at all. It's kind of hard to like choose what you want in a case off of these, because there's so many combinations of case. I'm just gonna do search on what I have here, and it shows 560 cases, and between the $17 price all the way up to over 300 for a case, and you're gonna see huge quality difference. See, you can get a case here, $20, $15 shipping. It has a side window after rebate. All these seem to have shipping. Usually more expensive, like $50 cases have free shipping. And see here, we got a Thermaltake. Thermaltake's a very good brand for cases. See here, this could be a very good choice. This seems to be a semi-new case. I mean, I don't know, if 2010 maybe is when it came out, which is, I mean, it's fairly new. See, cases are one of the things that don't seem to update very often. Like, a lot of new features. USB 3 is the newest feature really in a case that's worth upgrading to it, so you can have a USB 3 port connected to USB into your computer. But if you're not going to have a motherboard compatible that has USB 3, then you might as well, if you can find an older case that doesn't and it's cheaper, you might as well go with the older case for now, unless you want future-proof it so your case is upgradable to a new motherboard in the future. So this case, for instance, is a good option because it has both micro ATX and ATX compatibility, so you don't have to worry about what motherboard you're going to get later on, because you just have both. And the problem with choosing parts is, like, you might choose this now, and like later on it's like, crap, another part's not going to work in this, so I'm going to have to find a different case, and so you're going to have to look for case again. Each part affects each other, so it's hard to know exactly like what you're going to do. And like, it has a side window, it has 4 drive bays, which is more than adequate for most people. Most cases do have 4 or more. Even like a really cheap one usually has 4 drive bays, which, I mean, unless you're like ripping and like burning a ton of DVDs or Blu-rays at once, there's no reason to have that many. Expansion slot 7, I think, is the typical amount. That's for like your graphics card to come out the back, a sound card to come out the back, USB cards, different things that connect to the back of your computer will come out there. your front ports, two USB 2 ports, and HD audio ports. So you know what, USB 3 in this case. So if you really need that, you might want to have that in the front. Depend like if you will get USB flash drive, USB 3 flash drive, or USB 3 hard drive in the future, or already have one, you might want that. So you might want to spend like $20 more and get that, and get a little bit better case, and such like that. I'm gonna spend like some of the features in more expensive cases. Let's go up to like a, well, let's just get a best rating. That's typically the best thing you can do. Get a best rating, then look at prices. For instance, Antec 900, one of the most popular cases, $100. Usually you can get on Black Friday. I think I've seen it 80 with free shipping, something like that. Antec 300, it's a little bit smaller version of this. I guess it has no window now, or never had. I'm not really sure. And it's a quieter case. It's pretty cheap and high quality, and obviously, over 2,000 people gave it a 5-star, 5 eggs. So it's obviously a very good case. Antec, Cooler Master, Roswell, see other brands. Even Raid Max is like one I really haven't. It's not as common. Like this NZXT, those don't seem to be as common, I guess. But obviously they make good cases. So if it has a good rating like this, 5 eggs, I mean, it has to be a good case, I'd say. Like, go $40 here. See, $40, got one of the best ATX mid towers. That's usually the best option to look at reviews when going to case, unless you're really trying to save money. Then you need to read the reviews, not just like look what it's rated, because some people just rate things without even buying it, and it's completely stupid. This is the half 912 is the case I have. I have a unboxing, maybe review. I can't even remember. I have a definite unboxing of this case under my channel. If you want to see more detailed info on it, I'll give that link below, actually below, so you can click on it. This is actually a larger version of it, more for gamers. Which this works fine for games too. It has plenty of airflow, and half stands for high airflow. That's what half stands for, HAF. I mean, it all depends what you want, truthfully, when it comes to a case. If you go up really expensive, I'm going to try and find... I don't even know. ATX Super Tower. I'm trying to... HPTX and XL ATX are the two extremely large motherboards. This case is probably at least 3 feet high. And just over 2 feet. Okay, 2 feet 2 inches high, right there at that spot. I mean, it's a very large case. It's gonna take up a lot of room. But the people who buy these cases are usually require motherboards that require like 3 or 4 graphics cards, 1 or 2 at least sometimes even 2 processors, like $10,000 computers. It's those that you don't need a case like this if you're not anything like triple monitors. You want 3D, like 3D on triple monitors, like a super high resolution, like video editing. Those are the people who would get these cases to get support those motherboards. And even then, you can go to custom places online that'll get you even better cases than these for like $100 more. I mean, I don't know how much more I can explain to you about cases. You're running pretty high in the time, 30 minutes now. I guess if you have any questions, please comment below. Subscribe for more of my tech tips and videos. I'll try to answer anything I can. I mean, I'm not gonna call myself an expert because I'm definitely not, but I will say I'll try to help you if I can. And thanks for watching, and continue on to the next video.